listening to a One Pint Stand, a Minnesota craft beer podcast that tells the stories of craft beer in Minnesota and beyond. So kick back, relax, and grab a cold one. The show starts now. Hello, my name is Dan Bobian, and I write, produce, and host a One Pint Stand. I'm ecstatic that you are listening. This podcast has been a passion project of mine since 2016. This episode is a preview of the much anticipated and never duplicated Lupulin Brewing Company Big Beer Week 2024. This event showcases 46 beers, all above 10% ABV, and it starts Sunday, March 3rd and runs through Sunday, March 10th. To hear all about the amazing wonderment that awaits you, find a comfy chair and get ready to drool. Also, check out their website to make sure that you know how you can buy tickets to the preview dinner at Willie's on the Lake and purchase the beers ahead of anybody else. Now that I've got your attention, let's head out to Lupulin Brewing Company for my beer chat with the Lupulin crew. Cheers. Welcome to another on-location episode of One Pint Stand. My name is Dan Bobian, and we are up here again in the Lupulin Brewing Company conference room. There's lots of glasses, lots of bottles, a bag of coffee that Aaron is using to tempt Marcus with, because everybody Lupulin had their investor party last night, and I'm guessing the game of Monopoly went into overtime. So before we get in, and we're up here to talk about Big Beer Week 2024, which starts Sunday, March 3rd and runs through the 10th. It is a festival of beers that are 10% and higher, and it's 8 days of fun, really. How many total releases will there be this year?
There's going to be 46 releases this year, Dan.
46 releases? Holy cats. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's fun. So today on the show, we're going to be tasting 6 of those. And I want to before we get into the nuts and bolts of what Big Beer Week is, let's introduce everyone who's sitting around the table. We've got a lot of people in here. And so we can start over to my right. Why don't you say your name, what your role is at Lupulin, and what 2024 Big Beer Week release you're excited about.
All right, I'll start it off. I'm Tracy. I am the social media and communications guru here at Lupulin, working with Marcus to create the marketing dream team. This year's releases, I am really stoked about the double barrel aged Night Witch. It is so unique. It is just, the flavor is unreal. It's probably the best barrel aged beer we've done, honestly.
That's super exciting.
My name is Mike. I am the lead brewer on our 30-barrel brew house in the back. I also make all the infusions, and I run 2 boilers here.
Mysterious.
What are you excited about, Mike?
I'm always excited about the feedback from all the infusions. What went well, what didn't go well, what people liked.
My name is Marcus Paulson. I am the, what's my title here? Yeah, that's something like that. Marketing Artistic Director. I make all the art and make cool marketing things. I'm most excited about Coconut Banana Demigod because it's delicious. I want more of it in my mouth.
Where else would we be putting that beer, I wonder? A question for the fans.
I'm Mandy. I am the taproom manager, day-to-day handling of all of the event. I am probably most excited about the barrel-aged cinnamon coffee shop assault vehicle. It's fantastic.
Well, hello.
Hello, Jeff.
I am Jeff Ziert, co-founder and president for Lupulin Brewing Company. I guess my beer that I'm most excited about is, and no one said it, but I love IPAs. So I'm going to pick the triple IPA that we brewed this year as strictly psychedelic, and I'm looking forward to having some of that.
Hello, I'm Danielle. I am the hospitality manager here at Lupulin Brewing. I am really excited about all the infusions. That's kind of my favorite, just to test all those and try out all the new creative things Mike's come up with.
Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm the head innovation brewer here at Lupulin. I am most excited about probably the double barrel aged Night Witch as well. Anyone who's listened to this before knows how I like to kind of geek out about like the differences between specific, like the same beer in different barrels. So having a beer that's even more focused on that barrel aging component, longer aging in multiple barrels, was really exciting for me, and I think it turned out really nicely.
What is Big Beer Week? What if somebody has not been up here to Lupulin Brewing up here in Big Lake? And I should mention that they also do a variant of Big Beer Week at the Sioux Falls location, if I'm not mistaken. So who wants to give us just the Cliff Notes version of what Big Beer Week is?
Tracy will,
Yeah, you
because
said Cliff Notes, so Jeff's out.
Yeah, Jeff will give us the the Shakespeare 5-act monstrosity. Yeah, we want to keep it short. The man gets paid by the word up here, folks.
Yeah, so Big Beer Week is, it started out as 7 days, and it was the way that they were kind of announcing that they were open 7 days a week, actually, is how that started back in 2017. And it has now grown to be 8 days long. It features all beers 10% ABV or higher, different releases every single day. Aaron works very hard, selects very special barrels and beers, and curates a just amazing lineup every single year. And is it 3 years ago we brought it to Sioux Falls?
We brought it in 2020.
2020. Yep, so this is year 4 for Sioux Falls.
Okay.
And they follow pretty close to the same schedule, not quite as many beers as we do, but still a lot of.
Sioux Falls exclusives.
Yes, they have a couple different Sioux Falls exclusive beers down there that Ben was working on. So
I love coming up here to see what the different beers are, and I think it's fun that you also have some really incredibly flavorful, high-octane IPAs, triple IPAs that people can really get excited about, because we all know that hops are kind of like you want to get people excited, start talking about hops and putting different hops. And I think one of the calling cards of Lupulin Brewing is how you innovate with hops, and that's really fun to see a triple IPA that's easy drinking. It's easier said than done, I'm sure that you all know. So this year, as every year, Big Beer Week, there's like a T-shirt. That's what people want. People are coming in every day, trying different beers. They get a punch card, and if you come in every day, all 8 days of Big Beer Week, you qualify to get the 8-day T-shirt, which is usually, I mean, let's be clear, the 4-day shirt is no slouch, right? It's a good quality design, but the 8-day T-shirt usually has a little bit more je ne sais quoi, as the French say. And so kind of the creative artistry behind the T-shirt is Marcus. And Marcus, you always come up with wonderful things. Label art, T-shirt designs. You've won countless awards for your artistic visions. Do you want to tell us about what the shirts are going to look like this year, and kind of maybe your inspiration for the shirts?
Sure. Yeah, a couple different things. So this skull that's kind of become the Big Beer Week skull is something I drew just for fun before Big Beer Week was even a thing. I posted it on my Instagram, and Adam wanted us to make it into a T-shirt way back in the day. That's just kind of become the logo for Big Beer Week. And back then, and still, I wouldn't consider myself a deadhead. I've been learning a lot about the Grateful Dead this year, but I was always told that it looks like the Steal Your Face skull, which is like a Grateful Dead logo. Totally unintentional, but if you put them next to each other, sure looks like I copied it. But mine looks better. Yeah, so I don't know. the theme in past years has really been dark and kind of rock show vibe-ish, very dark. And we've had a lot of requests for more color. A few people are wrong and have asked for no skulls. We're going to keep using skulls.
I mean, I feel at this point you have to. You can't.
It's kind of the brand. Yeah, so this year we just really kind of leaned into the color and went with more of a psychedelic vibe, heavily influenced by the Grateful Dead. So I've been learning a lot online about the Grateful Dead. We've got a lot of roses in the design this year because they have a lot of that in their art and such. Yeah, skulls and roses and tie-dye and psychedelic stuff. The bottle labels also kind of mirror that. So you'll see a lot more color than the typical browns and blacks. On
I've got the bottle of the Barrel God aged in Barbados rum, and it looks very tie-dye, very like you'd find on a beach.
Oh, yeah.
Probably in Barbados, if I had to guess. I'm pretty good at reading context clues. So that's cool. Do you have looking back, do you have like a place where you kind of design, you like have all the designs up? Like, do you have like a room in your house or maybe on your bedroom ceiling where they're all prominently displayed?
Not everything. I've got a small collection at home. I've got a small collection in my office, but I added it up, I forget, a few months ago, and I'm like over 200 labels now. So I kind of gave up on keeping a collection of all of them.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a lot.
Yeah.
But I keep my favorites.
What are your favorites?
Honestly, typically the big beer week designs. Usually what ends up on a can label for our triple IPAs. So Opulent Octopus, maybe my favorite. Beverage Machine last year was also pretty cool.
I really like that because it's very like 8-bit. Like,
Yeah,
I think that was really cool.
Yeah. Jeff's got the Beverage Machine robot in his shirt. I'm rocking the octopus on mine.
Yeah. All very, they're all so unique, but also like, you know, do you get a lot of people coming in, you know, going into the room with the mural and just like, all right, we're closing in 5 minutes. You've been here for 7 hours. Can you please move along?
All the time.
That's got to feel really cool. There's fun Easter eggs, like if you're paying attention.
Yeah.
You know,
There
and
is one penis. People will tell me there are 10 or 15, but there's only one on purpose. But people find them all over the place.
The additional ones are ones Mike has put up there as he's getting into art in his own way. Do you ever consider like reprinting like a retro? Like,
we haven't. There is a possibility something like that could happen this year. I suppose this is a good a time of any to release that information. We're planning to have a print-on-demand store available during Big Beer Week, perhaps
cool.
afterwards. Haven't made that decision yet, but it will feature some stuff that people have been asking for in the past, other ways to get the Big Beer art onto other pieces of apparel, so like hoodies, maybe hats. I think our blankets are going to be on there this year, and potentially some other cool, fun stuff.
maybe matching footy pajamas for a couple, like
Maybe
if they wanted to,
footy
you know,
pajamas. I kind of like that.
go nuts. Yes.
Yeah, more to come on that.
That's exciting.
Stay tuned to social media for more announcements.
And I remember last year you did kind of an exclusive hockey jersey.
Yes.
Will something like that be available this year?
We are going to do the jersey again. Blew me away how many people were willing to come all 8 days just for the ability to spend $200 on a hockey jersey. Tracy, how many did we have? Do you remember?
It was over 100 of them.
Crazy. I don't understand it, but I love it. I love the passion. I have a buddy of mine who doesn't like beer, who never comes here, came all 8 days so he could get that jersey.
That's pretty cool. It's a nice jersey. I mean, in Minnesota, you would think a hockey jersey is not a tough sell. Like it's cool. So they can get a jersey. And then,
so if you didn't get your jersey last year, well, that'll be available again this year. You have to come all 8 days. Got to get all 8 stamps, and then there will be a sign up form on day 8 where you can sign up to order your jersey. New this year, if you got a jersey last year, we will have patches available to purchase if you come all 8 days. The patch will have some semblance of the art from this year, so you can kind of collect your patches. Jeff will eventually get a Boy Scout sash for all of his patches, I'm sure.
Oh, that would be cool. Does anybody still? Do you ever see the original?
The original yellow,
the yellow ones.
Yeah, they pop up here
Every now and then. Yeah, I still have mine somewhere. I couldn't find it. It was not in my T-shirt drawer, so my wife might have hid it. She does not like the yellow. She's like,
Canary yellow.
in her words, it hurts my retinas, so I don't get to wear it that often.
It hurts
but
mine too, Dan.
Yeah. that's right. There is a preview dinner happening, and that's kind of a fun thing. Do you want to tell me the details about how people can come and preview some of the offerings this year?
One of the things that we've been really focused on around our purpose is community involvement, and this past year we've started partnering with one of the new local restaurants called Willie's on the Water over on Big Lake, and through those discussions, we've done a couple sneak peek releases with them, but we also talked to them when we started this partnership was they have a nice separate area that they can do about 60 people in, and we thought, well, what a great place, what a great partnership to have a preview dinner at their location featuring our beers and their cuisine that they have, and pairing those things up. So that's kind of how the idea came back around to having a preview dinner. And so I'll turn it over to Tracy, and she can talk more of the details around that dinner.
Yeah, so the dinner is actually going to be on Tuesday, February 27th at Willie's. We're going to start out at 6:30 with a happy hour and a complimentary pint of hooey to hang out and mingle. And we will be sitting everybody down at 7 p.m. for a 4-course meal featuring 4 Lupulin beers. We're going to have 2 new releases this year. Aaron was kind enough to give us some of a stash beer. The 2020 Demigod's making a return, and we will have a Sticky Puddles Peach Cobbler as well.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm excited for that course. They're pairing that with turmeric and rosemary baked chicken thighs and Brussels sprouts that are going to be drizzled in like a balsamic vinaigrette. It sounds fantastic.
Yum.
So we still have tickets available. You can see those and read the whole menu yourself on our Facebook event or even on our website. It's going to be a really great night. You will also have the opportunity to purchase all of the Big Beer Week releases except for the triple IPA that night and take them home with you. So you'll get access to everything before anybody else does.
Oh, wow, that's a pretty fun perk for that.
Yeah. I actually got to attend this when they did it at Chow a few years back, and it was such a cool night. Aaron does a really great job of telling the story of the beers, and the cooks do a great job pairing everything together. And it's really fun to be able to like take those beers home and sample them before anybody else gets to. So
that's
cool
exciting
to do.
Yeah, so get on the website, figure out how you can make space in your social calendar to come down and preview. Also, get all the releases, right? That's the.
Why wouldn't you do that?
Then you can have them just in case they run out. Because I know in the past, sometimes you never know. Like, you can't wait on this stuff.
No, absolutely
Also,
not.
I really love the fact that they're bottled now in smaller vessels.
that was a fun change to explain to people. And then once we kind of explained it, and we're like, well, but now you can open one, and it's like less than 12 ounces, so you can enjoy that yourself or with a buddy, and it's not, a lot greater amount of liquid you're trying to drink at one time. It allows you to buy less or more of things and have a greader variety.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's good. I
That's a
mean,
good
because
call.
people are, still kind of coming off a dry January, so, maybe
We gotta
ramping up
ease
with,
them in, yeah.
nobody's trying to hurt themselves. All right, so we have the first 2 of 6 pours sitting in front of us, and it's a very, I guess in keeping with the Grateful Dead idea, we have the Barrel God, kind of the iconic text or font, I guess you would say. We've got the Barrel God 2024 aged in Barbados rum barrels, and then we have the second Barrel God 2024 that's aged in Old Forester bourbon barrels. And kind of on each one, you have kind of a different. Ooh, I like the Old Forester one. Looks like funfetti cake, which is cool. So very colorful, very
That Old Forester
very
one is
festive.
Probably my favorite label this year is the Old Forester one. maybe slightly inspired by a particular experience I had with fungus in a forest one time. That's what tree bark looks like.
You and the
Do
Mario
recommend.
Brothers. Yeah, well, that's fun.
A little heroic dose in
say-
the mountains.
Art
Highly
imitates
recommend.
life. That's a good little tidbit to know. That's right. Oh, I love our conversations. If I don't say it often enough, I really do enjoy this. That's right. You're getting the true backstory here. So, Aaron, talk us through how, as I've learned over the years, I know that when you're aging beer in barrels, there's really no kind of recipe book for that, and it's different every year. I know that sourcing barrels continues to be more and more challenging. It's getting more and more expensive, and so I imagine that, you know, what you had access to maybe 10 years ago or 8 years ago, you know, in the past is probably more difficult. So do you want to kind of talk us through how you arrived at these two variants and what people can expect when they come in and try a pour and buy a bottle to take home?
Sure. Yeah, so like you said, I mean, barrel procurement has gotten increasingly difficult with every year. It seems like the barrels are, cost probably 2+ times as much as they did 4 or 5 years ago, and the selection generally isn't as good even. Thing I'm looking for the most important thing I'm looking for is getting the freshest barrels we can get. So getting barrels that are dumped and sent here as quickly as possible and ready for us to use them. That's number one criteria. After that, do like to have variety in the releases. And when I say variety, we're still, that's the same base beer. So different bourbons, different whiskeys, different spirits. We've used rum a few times now. They're a pain, but we get some fun beers out of them.
Yeah. When you say they're a pain,
They leak a lot.
Okay, yeah.
They usually arrive to us in pretty bad shape. A lot of times
Didn't you tell me one time a pirate jumped out and you had to chase him down?
he demanded respect. So Steven told him to put old ale in.
Very good.
Anyways.
So leaky barrels.
Yeah, leaky barrels.
That'd make a
lot
good
of times
band name.
they have head bungs and side bungs, and they've been plugged up with a variety of different bungs. Or I guess
Yeah.
yeah. So everywhere
Never heard
that
of a
there-
side
that there-
bung
that-
before.
that there was a bung hole. A lot of times those might be leak spots, and then if the barrels are a little drier, you can leaking from all the seams. And so yeah, do our best to get beer in them as quickly as we can, but hydrating, waxing shut leaky spots. Sometimes it's just a matter of we try all those things, and then it's just let it leak until it seals, which doesn't always work.
Yeah.
But
So
we're
your
also
yield on
not-
this
yeah,
barrel
sometimes
is
the yield is really terrible. Sometimes because that happened, you end up getting barrels that don't turn out and go down the drain.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Is with the barrels that leak, is it a worry that you're gonna get contaminated? Does that happen often, or does it pretty much it's only kind of like a one-way out type thing? Things can't get in.
no, I mean if they're leaking, they're also potentially drawing in stuff from the atmosphere. So
Okay.
yeah, definitely leaky barrels are more cause for concern about contamination as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had I would say we've had a pretty good track record with our barrels not getting contaminated, but we definitely had a solid handful this year that we had to send down the drain, not put into blends because they had gone wrong in one way or another, which is always sad. But it'd be more sad if we put it in the beer.
Right. Yeah. The collateral damage of releasing a beer that is not good is way worse than having to
Absolutely
pour something down the drain.
Yeah.
So the beer we're tasting, talk me through it.
Yeah, so we have two here. Barrel God, our flagship at least for Big Beer Week, barrel-aged Imperial Stout, designed way back in the day right after we opened, one of the first Imperial Stouts we made. Is a pretty standard all malt base with some roasted and chocolate malts and stuff in there, and pretty standard boil. Unlike some of our other things, the process is pretty simple, and it's more just about the time in the barrels and the specific barrels and all of that. Versus,
are you at liberty to say how much time this beer spent in the barrel?
So these two, generally our like standard Barrel God releases spend about a year in the barrel. So these both were right around 12 months. We also, this is the fourth year running now, have a variant of Barrel God that we call Barrel God Cuvée, which started off as a blend of 2 different years, so like 12-month and 24-month aged Barrel God. Now this year it is a blend of 4 different ages, and I think there's a 5-barrel blend this year. So I think 5 different barrel types and 4 different ages.
Oh, wow.
So I've been, saving barrels over the years. And then, as we have built out that blending thing, sometimes I'm saving them and not even sampling them for several years because, every time you go into that barrel, you increase the risk of something happening.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. So how often do you sample?
Yeah, so something like that, like the oldest, the 4-year-old, 48-month aged Barrel God, that was not even 1/5 because of evaporation and stuff like that, but roughly 1/5 of this year's blend. That barrel I didn't drill until a couple months ago.
Okay.
And at that point was confirmed that it was very awesome.
Yeah.
But if it hadn't been, then it was just gone.
Okay.
It would have gone down the drain, and it would have just been a 3-year blend this year, just like last year.
Okay.
But because it continued to develop really awesome flavors and get kind of more and more concentrated and rich, it was perfect to add into there, and so leave that open until the time of making the blend to make sure that we're not just saying we're going to use this and then we use it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun to as you've been talking, I've been kind of sniffing each one between the Barbados rum and the Old Forester bourbon barrel. It's interesting, rum is it's so different than bourbon.
Yeah.
How do you make sure, because rum I think is oftentimes sweet on its own, and do you run the risk sometimes that when you put a beer in a rum barrel of picking up too much sweetness, or is there not too much residual sweetness in the barrel? I suppose if the barrels are leaking, they're not super wet. Whereas as I've talked to brewers over the years, sometimes they'll get a fresh barrel and it's still got sloshing around.
Yes, which they of course dump out.
Yes, because you wouldn't drink that. That's not right. If you want to have that experience, you need to go into a forest and gnaw on some mushrooms. But you're not drinking liquid out of a barrel. But I suppose with rum, you don't have that, or do you?
I mean, I think you always have the risk of like one element of the beer pushing it out of balance.
Yeah.
And balance can mean a lot of different things depending on like what you're working with and what your like aim is.
Yeah.
Because these are, big boozy beers that a lot of times can be sweet. One thing that was a little surprising to me, and I think this is the first time we've used Barbados rum. I'm not a rum connoisseur by any means, but one thing I read about Barbados rum as opposed to Jamaican rum is that they're typically finished in bourbon casks. And I thought at the time of blending and packaging these beers that they were surprisingly similar. I mean, it is the same base beer after all, but a lot of times we'll get a bigger difference between the rum and the bourbon than I think we got this year, actually.
Yeah.
It does still have what I kind of recognize as a rum flavor, but it has also those kind of vanillin, caramely notes that you typically will get from the bourbon barrels as well.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more, that part of it, a little more subdued.
I think it picks up more of like the molasses flavor that you get in a rum versus the rum we did 2 years ago had like a more coconutty sweetness to it. This one is like really rich, and you just get like caramel and vanilla on the nose, and it's just, I think they're very different actually because of that piece of it.
For sure.
Yeah, I like it. It is very balanced, and you do get a nice kind of bouquet of like molasses, kind of brown sugar elements that I think are very nice to have in a beer. It's good.
One other thing to note is this Barbados Barrel God rum is the highest ABV that we're putting out this year. It's at 15.4%.
Okay. Wow.
So
it doesn't taste like it. It's very smooth. It's not.
No, not our highest ever, but it's the highest for this year. So, yeah, I kind of, same as what Tracy's saying, I noticed the molasses. Of course, it's been warming, too, for a bit here to get to room temperature because we poured it. But, yeah, it's very different between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's transition into the Old Forester, which Old Forester is a really good bourbon on its own. There's a lot of different types of Old Forester, different my neighbor Jerry has a bunch of the bourbon or the birthday versions, which are really hard to come by. He's got like a bunch of them on it. Just one shelf is dedicated to Old Forester, so you have to tread lightly when you go down to his basement because you might wake up 4 days later and be like, "Hey, where are my socks?" Were you happy with the way this one turned out, the Old Forester one?
Absolutely.
Did you two walk into the woods and gnaw on some mushrooms to fine-tune the recipe, or?
I did not consume
Okay.
any mushrooms
Okay.
in the making of this beer.
Should I get put that disclaimer on the no mushrooms are consumed to the
But yeah, no, I was happy with. I think the barrels that we typically get are not the ones that are those birthday releases, I'm guessing. Generally, I've found that kind of the mid-aged bourbon barrels, like young to mid-aged, are, as long as the end product is also considered to be quality, those are some of the best barrels because you're going to get the most character out of them, whereas the really long-aged ones have the bourbon itself has pulled most of that awesome character out of the barrel. Not to say that you can't sometimes get good barrel-aged beers out of those longer-aged special bourbons,
right.
But I think the hit rate is greater when you're talking like like 6 to 8 year kind of aged bourbons are like pretty solid.
Yeah, and the flavors, it's very, still like I love the mouthfeel on this beer, and when you kind of like have it in this nice lupulin snifter, you kind of it really does kind of stick to the glass, and you can tell it kind of has legs, which is that's to me is a hallmark of a really nice big stout. I like that in the rum barrel, the Barbados rum, there was like a sweetness from like the molasses, and this one has the aroma. And there's more wood, which I enjoy, and the flavor I'm getting like more kind of like dark fruit a little bit, which to me is in the world of pastry stouts, a lot of that is hard to find in a stout. Now, if you're just kind of like casually looking around, and that's one thing when breweries do a barrel aged beer, sometimes you'll unlock some of those flavors, and I really like the flavor of this one, and just how the barrel shows up in the nose is really special. I like it. This is good. This is yummy. I'm gonna need a moment, folks.
Yeah, I think too on your note
Get me
about
a side bung. No,
about there being more wood on the Old Forester one. As I think listeners may or may not know, bourbon has to be in like brand new barrels. Like that's part of being able to call it bourbon from a legal standpoint. So. And this is not like a super long aged one. So you definitely have a lot of wood, which I personally get a lot of vanilla out of that too. But I think rum and most other spirits, they don't have that requirement that they have to have brand new barrels. So typically, or a lot of times, they're getting used bourbon barrels. They're getting used this or that barrels. So by the time the rum is going into them, they've already had a lot of the wood tannins and things pulled out of them, and they're more of a vessel just for more aging and evaporation and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but you're not going to pull that unique,
don't get as
distinct
much,
thing,
Lose the
which is
uniqueness a little bit.
Yeah.
at that point it's kind of just for novelty's sake. I guess
Right,
you could
or
argue.
just like it's a cheap place to store it for the time that it needs to age until you can sell it.
Yeah. It's really good, and I think a lot of breweries put wood in. Excuse me, a lot of breweries put beer in a wooden barrel, and I think there really is a lot that goes into it. And you need to. I mean, there's so much research, and there's so much probably trial by error, things that aren't written in a book that you kind of discover on your own, or you discover talking to other people who have done it for a long time. And I know that like it's really probably the fun part of the craft is that because it's a puzzle. You don't know what you're going to get. You know what you're shooting for, but like, and then sometimes you're pleasantly surprised. A beer that you've let sit for a while, you're like, well, let's try it. I don't know how good it's going to be, and it's amazing. That's got to feel really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are both really, really good. I'm if I had to choose to take one home and bring to dinner, I would do the Old Forester one. I like that one a lot. When will people be able to buy these? When will these release? Which days of the barrel-aged beer, the big beer
So
week?
if you attend the preview dinner at Willie's the week before, you will be able to buy bottles at that event. But that's only if you attend that event. You can't just show up at Willie's that night and buy them without attending the event. If you don't, the rum variant will release on Monday, March 4th, and the Old Forester variant will release on Tuesday, March 5th.
Okay. It's fun to you also do a nice job of spreading out the really kind of fun things because it's if you can't get up there, it seems like every day there's at least something special that somebody could run into. as far as a beer here. But like sometimes if a brewery just does a release on a day and you're gone or you have to work, like, oh, you're kind of SOL. So I like the fact that like you can show up and know that you're going to be drinking at least probably 2 or 3 special things.
Yeah. I mean, every single day of the 8 days, we release a brand new beer, which also is available in package to go. And then there's an infusion and typically 3+ vintage, like from our cellar tappings.
And those are,
that's every
to
single one
me,
of the
that's
8
really
days.
fun because you kind of do get to go back in time and relive some of your favorite ones.
So, like, certain things, like the infusions, typically are gone within about 30 minutes of being tapped.
Yeah.
Some of that other stuff will stick around for a couple days. So, if you can't make it every day, you probably will be able to get some of the stuff that was released in previous days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't chance that, though. If there's something you really
If you
want,
really want,
you better get
get
here
out
that
here,
day
yeah.
because
Right.
we'll say that, and then we're always blown away by how many people show up for this week and everybody's love for these beers. So
Yeah. I remember last year one of the Barrel Gods was a Russell's Reserve, right? That I remember that one being pretty memorable and one that I really liked. And it's kind of fun to like over the years. I know a number of years you did a Barrel God in a Scotch barrel.
oh, the Ely Scotch Barrel God.
Oh yeah.
That was good. That
delicious.
sticks out in my head. And I'm not usually a Scotch person, but it's just fun, the variety of different things.
That one specifically will be
Right.
also tapped. A keg of it will be tapped on Monday, March 4th.
The Scotch one?
The 2022
Islay Scotch.
Islay.
Islay. Yeah, the Islay Scotch. So say that again into the microphone.
Islay Scotch, I think.
Islay Scotch. Okay.
Whoop.
All right.
Butchered that.
Yeah. I don't know. I can never. Trying to read and pronounce anything on a bottle of Scotch is problematic for
yeah,
me.
I just try my best, but
Yeah.
no promises. But yeah, I think my favorite, like, I love the just this week and like the Barrel God series in particular because he doesn't adjunct these. These are truly just, like he said, it's not a super special base beer. It's a pretty common imperial stout, and he will select really, really special barrels and it's Barrel God. It lets the barrels shine and the characters that the beers are pulling from those barrels. And I think that it's just so special. Like, and there's got to be one that at least everybody has found that they like because there's been so many different ones. We've had sweeter ones. We've had like the Islay was like almost smoky to a point, and just like really rich and complex flavors. So.
Yeah, the Barrel God is just a great canvas to showcase a lot of the different things and highlight the barrels, which is, again, very hard to do.
But if you want adjuncts, Mike will talk about the infusions because he's actually after the break because there are several Barrel Gods that he actually did some infusions with.
Ooh.
And
That's the perfect teaser and the perfect segue into our break. So when we come back, we're going to talk about infusions, and we're going to try 4 more beers. So don't go anywhere. And you are listening to a One Pint Stand up here at Lupulin Brewing, previewing Big Beer Week 2024. Hey, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully you're enjoying a One Pint Stand. My aim is to help spread the word about craft beer. Enjoying craft beer is a passion of mine, and I love chatting about it with other people. A One Pint Stand has a goal of helping breweries tell their stories. I love to get out in and beyond Minnesota to visit breweries, beer bars, and meet other interesting beer people. If you are also into those things, you probably want to keep tabs on the show. So go ahead and follow a One Pint Stand on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We would also appreciate any and all positive reviews on Spotify and iTunes to help make it easier for other craft beer listeners to find us. If you like reading about craft beer, I started my own blog, and all of my writing can be found at aonepintstand.com. After 8 years of writing as editor-in-chief at Beer Pluma, it was time for me to start my own blog. So make sure you check out the blog for some interesting craft beer content of the written variety. I truly appreciate you listening and taking time to enjoy our stories. Now, back to the show. We're back after taking a little break. Again, we are at Lupulin Brewing Company in Big Lake, Minnesota, previewing Big Beer Week, which is happening in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, March 3rd to the 10th. Okay, now, I'm not having a stroke. Here's the issue. That we normally, in 75% of time, the dates in February are the same dates in March. But this year's a leap year, and for some odd reason, that's throwing me for a loop. So if I seem like I don't know what's going on, it's just that.
That you don't know what's going on.
That's right. So March 3rd March 3rd through the 10th, you can sample, come on in and try, what did we say, 47? 46 different beers that get released. And the caveat to a beer that gets released in Big Beer Week is that it has to be 10% or over, correct?
Yes,
Right,
it
yes.
needs to be 10% over.
There will be other beers on tap, though. I guess that's something we should clarify.
They may or may not be on tap, but we will for sure have cans of our Dortmunder available. So there will be a lager. I could most likely say that the Apricot Blonde and Two Nuts Brown Ale will also be available as can pours throughout the week. Whether there's anything below 10% on tap by the time the second weekend runs around or comes around, can't promise that.
Yeah.
Not very likely.
I just worry for the poor soul who comes in looking for like a 5% beer and they see, oh, everything is really high octane. You know, I planned on, so there will be cans of Dortmunder, which is good. That's good. All right, so before we took a break, Jeff gave a little allusion to some different things happening in fusions, and we just poured a Barrel Nuts. This is a Imperial Brown Ale aged in Old Forester bourbon barrels.
This used to be Whiskey Nuts.
Oh,
so hence, based on the federal TTB approval, whiskey cannot be used in the name. So, and for us to be able to send this beer to our Sioux Falls facility, the team here came up with Barrel Nuts with a Z, because that's the other reason.
Yeah,
hence,
I think it originally started with Two Nuts, trying to
Two Nuts.
distribute Two Nuts.
Yep, Two Nuts.
We changed that. We added a Z to the word nuts,
which came from
suddenly
Zorbas, by the way.
Government is
You were asking about Zorbas.
It's come full circle.
Remember that, Marcus? That's where it comes from. The
that
Z.
wasn't part of the podcast.
No, oh, sorry. I'm just saying that's how we came up with the Z in there.
That's right.
All right.
Go ahead, Marcus.
So we changed nuts to nuts with a Z on Two Nuts, and that was accepted.
Yep.
Whiskey Nuts was not accepted with a Z, so we changed that to Rye Nuts last year.
Oh, that's right.
Because it was rye whiskey barrels. This year,
Rye is a grain.
yes, rye is a grain, so that was considered okay.
Yep.
This year, that was not an option, so we came up with Barrel Nuts, nuts with a Z. This should be the final name for this beer moving forward. But
They did approve it.
This is basically Whiskey Nuts with just a fourth name.
I'm worried that we've said nuts so many times that anybody with an
Nuts,
allergy
nuts,
is going to go into anaphylaxis, but that's neither here nor there. So Barrel Nuts, brown ale, a favorite. I mean, in whatever iteration you want on the label, the beer and the zeitgeist behind the beer is kind of like a big thing. You've been doing it for years.
This is the other kind of Big Beer Week flagship.
Yeah.
Whiskey Nuts, Barrel God. Those are the two that kind of started it all, and that we continue to make and fill barrels of every year and release different iterations of. So it's an imperial, kind of an imperialized version of a brown ale that we make, Two Nuts, although it's not just like that beer beefed up, but it is a brown ale like Two Nuts and made to withstand the time in the barrel and benefit from time in the barrel. It has a lot of similarities to a barley wine, with maybe a little more specialty malt than your typical barley wine would have. Sometimes those barley wines, get their complexity from super long boils. This doesn't have that. We're getting a little bit of that complexity from the specialty malts that you would see in a brown ale. But similar strength, and it drinks similarly to a barley wine, barrel-aged barley wine. So, and also
I just
it
took
is
a sip.
in the Old Forester bourbon barrels again. So last year, as you might guess, because we have both Barrel God and this Barrel Nuts available coming out of Old Forester bourbon, that was one of the types of barrels that we were able to get that was the freshest, and also something that we hadn't used prior to that. So that's the reason that you're seeing both the Barrel Nuts and the Barrel God in Old Forester bourbon this year.
Okay. Oh yeah, this is really good. There's more. I like the sweetness. There's more to me. Maybe like toffee character in this one than the Barrel God, which I really like. It clued me in when you said barley wine, and I'm like, oh, let's see. Oh, yes, daddy like. This is yummy. Woo, boy, oh boy.
And this will be the most sessionable of our big beer releases, coming in at 10.1%.
You can shotgun this son of a bitch.
Just barely meets our criteria.
Yeah, this is really, really good.
And this will be released on Wednesday, March 6th. So that's when, if you don't attend the preview dinner, like we talked about before, you will be able to get it on draft and to go on Wednesday, March 6th.
Yeah, that is yummy. Woo. Now because I was looking at the label. These are acorns and not coffee beans. At first, I was like, are these coffee beans on here?
They're just pretend nuts. They're not. They're just for fun. There's no nuts in the beer.
Does not contain nuts.
When I hear pretend nuts, I think of like.
Do we want to go there?
You follow me on this journey. I promise it's worth it. Like when you watch like a cartoon, and like like the Chipmunks.
Kind of cartoons.
They didn't have nuts. They had pretend nuts. Is that the inspiration for this label?
Cartoons.
Yeah. It was on Saturday mornings in the 80s. Yeah, I'll edit that part out. That was weird. But yes, this. Okay, barrel nuts. Yummy. Yeah, this is good. And I like that. Yeah. I like that toffee. There's a little. Whew.
Yeah, the sweetness also. I like that.
But it's not cloying. Like it's just the right amount. Just the right amount of sweetness for me. Mm-hmm. And everybody's palate's different. Right. But what's everybody else tasting? What are you all getting out of this?
I get a lot of raisin out of all the whiskey nuts.
Oh yeah.
Kind of raisiny.
Danielle, what are you getting out of it?
Drunk. It's a lot sweeter than I was anticipating, but it's
Shots fired.
yeah, it's very good. It's very sweet, and I think it'll be one of the biggest hits during Big Beer Week.
Yeah.
We'll also have, on top of the food trucks, we'll have music as well on Friday and Saturday. So we have Brian Jameson coming in on Friday, and Matt Leffler on Saturday, 5:30 and 6, I believe they're coming in.
Are those, maybe this is a dumb question, do people need to buy tickets for those in advance?
Nope.
Just show up?
Just show up and
in
listen for fun.
In the stave? The fancy name of the event center? Yeah. Okay, that's fun. I recommend eating before, during, and after Big Beer Week, because it's a lot of beer. You need something.
Yeah, you are also welcome to bring in whatever food you'd like from other places as well. So that's always something to keep in mind. We've had people bring in charcuterie boards and just pizza from across the street or whatever. Yeah, we have had crock pots. Yep.
Crock pots. That'd be fun. I wonder if you're listening and you want to kick it up a notch, you could plan a potluck Big Beer Week adventure and bring in a couple crock pots and just like make a day of it. Wouldn't that be cool? So speaking of, the people just keep showing up with punch bowls of goldfish crackers. Bring a punch bowl of goldfish crackers for Big Beer Week. Why not? So, in addition to snacks available in the tap room, one of the wonderful things about Big Beer Week is it's a chance for Mike to really flex his creative muscles when it comes to infusions. Now, if you follow Lupulin Brewing Company online, which you need to, every now and again, you'll see an awesome video of the mad scientist in the lab doing all sorts of crazy stuff. I just love what you all get up to when you're making those videos. It's so creative. So, Mike, do you want to talk about infusions that people can look forward to for Big Beer Week?
Yeah. Give a quick rundown of what infusions we're going to have and maybe talk about a couple of them. On Sunday, starting out, we're going to do it's going to be a blend of Antsy and Our Pantsies, Antsy and Our Pantsy, Butterfly Trousers, and Sycophant. And it's going to be a blueberry pancake. Then coming up on Monday, we're going to do a Twix Barrel God.
What?
And
Twix
and that'll be in
Barrel
this year's
God.
release of Barrel God. Tuesday. That one. All right. Yep. That one's the rum. And then Tuesday, we're going to do a French Silk Barrel God in the Old Forester. Then we're going to have Wednesday, the Barrel Nuts Old Fashioned. Then we're going to have Firestorm, which is our the scribbled lines Stormborn with fireballs. Another kind of classic we brought back. Then we're going to do a mint witch.
Hold on. I don't mean to interrupt. When you say fireballs, like the candy?
Yes,
Like the atomic
candy.
fireballs?
Yeah.
Oh,
Not.
I was gonna
There's no
say,
spirits in it.
we've already pissed off the TTB once. We don't want to do it again.
So then we've got the Pirate King demands ginger snaps. And then to round it all out is going to be a chocolate coconut banana demigod.
Ooh. So how does that work? Just-
Yeah, I said mint witch. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I did.
I was hooked up on the fireballs.
Jeff and his balls.
Jeff and his balls. They're always fiery. Talk me through the banana. What did you say? Banana chocolate?
Yeah, so it was the chocolate coconut banana demigod.
Yeah. How does that work? Like how do you impart those flavors into that beer?
So, and actually in this one, the original base beer was the coconut banana demigod. And when we had our meeting trying to come up with the infusions for this year, one of the things that we wanted to bring back was kind of like the kind of cereal, kind of snacky infusion. So in this one is where we did kind of our like, quote unquote Count Chocula kind of. We thought these flavors would go really good, like if you had kind of like chocolate and banana in your cereal. And so that was kind of where that one kind of came from.
Okay. And almost as if it was rehearsed, Aaron is pouring this beer.
No, pouring the coconut.
Well, the base.
The base beer. Okay, so we get to try it.
Yep.
Yummy. Oh yeah. People will like this a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting, anytime, like, I'm sure just like barrel aging, infusions, probably not an exact science, right? There's a lot of trial and error. And
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Require one mad scientist.
Now, when you're making them, are you dressed as the mad scientist, or is that only
Sometimes.
for the... Okay, all right. Is that only for
Sometimes.
the social medias? Yeah. Infusions are fun. I think, all the base beers that are released are amazing on their own, but like when you add in those flavors, it's really kind of a fun thing. I think that's for the beer enthusiast, the beer geek, that has to be one of the biggest draws of Big Beer Week, just to see what is possible with these beers and the flavors. And they're all so good. None of them are out of whack. I mean, you go to some places and they have an infusion of something and it's out of balance. And it just almost feels like was this on purpose or was this an accident? But like every infusion that I've ever had here has always just like been just right on. So
Yeah.
kudos to you. That's
it-
really difficult to do.
Definitely helps with having hundreds of infusions under my belt. So, that's one thing you can kind of see, like, when you're at a place and an infusion seems weird, it could be somebody that's just starting to do them. So, like there was a bunch at the beginning that were, or like we would just like, no, we're not doing that one this week, no Bradham this weekend because it's like just didn't turn out. And that's where it came down to a lot of note taking, a lot of samples, like, then it's, oh, like we were really going for this, but it actually tastes like this. So we're going to call it this instead.
Yeah.
Note down that these ingredients that we thought would give us these flavors actually give us these flavors. So then moving forward, when you're trying to make different infusions, you can kind of go back and look at, oh, yeah, the last time we tried to make this, it turned out like this. So now we know to either try something different to try and get to those flavors or to use that to get to whatever it did turn out. Because one that was always kind of an interesting one was doing a Snickers infusion that ended up tasting like peanut brittle. Because when you think about it, there's really like no chocolate on the Snickers. It's just that little thin layer.
Right. Yeah.
So when I blend them up and throw them in there, then we were done with the infusion. I'm like, this tastes like peanut brittle. It doesn't taste like Snickers.
Right. Well, yeah,
So
because it's
like,
prominently peanuts and caramel.
So we've kind of learned throughout the years that you kind of really have to dissect whatever ingredient you're trying to put in there. So instead of actually using that ingredient, you try to really dissect the parts of it and use individual parts to make it like you would in a recipe.
Yeah.
Because, some of the other times when you actually use the final product, it doesn't taste like that in the beer. It's like certain things need more pop in the beer that they don't when they're just like the candy or the food.
And I wonder, like, this is maybe not a question for anybody here to answer, but like when you go through like the beer program at like DCTC, do they cover how to do that? Or like there's got to be a better way than just like trial and error to learn this. Like I know that, Jeff, you're heavily involved in the guild. When you do the technical conference, are there ever conversations when they're coming up with classes to be like maybe have Mike come on and talk about infusions just so people aren't like if a brewer is starting out and they haven't done much with it, like so they don't have to go through like all those steps to like they should be able to like hear from you or anybody else who's like had years of experience under their belts to kind of like eliminate those initial like mistakes. I would imagine that would be something really valuable for either a commercial brewer or even on the homebrew side of it, because I mean that's like the creativity part that I think a lot of people get into homebrewing for is like to do that. But if like how do you there's no like recipe book.
Yeah, and an interesting thing with like the homebrew side, I've had a couple of the like local homebrewers reach out to me. They're like, "Hey, I'm trying to make this like mead or beer or like I'm trying to like add these flavors. Like, what are your rates on things or what would you suggest? Or like how would you go about doing this?" And so a lot of times when I'm telling them like, well, this is kind of what I would do, like a good starting point.
Yeah.
And, here's kind of how I would go about it. And sometimes there's like, I would not have even thought of that.
Well, yeah, just because you've been doing it for so long, like you have so much experience and a wealth of knowledge that like you could take out so many sleepless nights for people that are like, I don't know how this is going to turn out. But yeah, it's always fun to like taste the infusions and I just always find myself being quite mesmerized with how good they are. And like, wow, that's just right on. That's a talent.
Thank you.
Great.
How many total, Mike, do you have in your spreadsheet now
God.
we've actually you've done over 5 years now?
It's hundreds. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head. Yeah, that spreadsheet is huge. There's so many lines on it.
And as far as DCTC, the Dakota County Technical College brewing course, I'm not aware. We've had two graduates. One of our current brewers, Josh Gibson, is part of that program. And then Steven, who was with us, Ivanich, went to
Insight.
Insight. But I think, Mike, you probably had to,
Oh.
you probably did train. I mean, both of them, I think, have worked with you in the past on some infusions, haven't they?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. We just checked the spreadsheet. Looks like I'm at like 445 infusions.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, no,
You belong to the Infusion Hall of Fame. This coconut banana is quite delicious.
Make sure if you want the infusions too, make sure that you get there on time during the weekdays, Monday through Thursday. They're out at 5.
I would get here like 10 minutes before that.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
have
there's
a
a massive
line
line.
wrapped around.
Yeah.
Does anybody here old enough to remember, like, when you'd have to do that for concerts? You'd have to go sleep outside, like, the Civic Center to get tickets? All of you young bucks in here, I don't know if you have ever had that. No, just me. Okay,
Yeah,
moving on. Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, the infusions sound when you said Twix, my rods and cones just started getting all excited.
It's the big beer.
That's right. It happens. Alert, alert.
Twix, Mike can talk about it. I mean, even though Twix is, as we know it, is a candy bar, but Mike's not.
And was
using-
also the
but I
topic of a
believe-
really popular Seinfeld episode, if anybody ever saw that one.
But I think Mike can talk about it because as I look at
Twix lineup, you remember?
the ingredients, it's
You're
not
my
the
people.
Twix candy bar that's being used, correct, Mike?
Yeah, that's correct. And that's kind of going back to that whole Snickers conversation where using the actual like candy as an ingredient doesn't really work. So in this one, I kind of was looking at a couple different recipes. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll start online and try and find like recipes of people like, how to make them at home or how to make them, I guess at home. And different kind of recipes that come up and see what do they all have in common, what are they kind of doing, and then I'll kind of use that to base where I want to go with my recipe. And I think, what was it called? It was Millionaire Shortbread. That was another kind of like knockoff Twix recipe. So kind of going off of all of those, I kind of came up with using some caramel, some nibs, some vanilla, and then just shortbread cookies.
Okay, yeah,
So-
that makes sense.
Trying to just get all the different ingredients separated out. And like the one nice thing about using nibs in this is like another one where you look at a Twix, there's not a lot of actual chocolate on it, just kind of a thin coating on there.
Right.
So being able to like use the amount of nibs that I want to get that chocolate flavor that you would get if you were just eating them, where if it goes into the beer, there's so much more of the other ingredients that they would overshadow that chocolate flavor.
And the beer itself also contributes.
Correct.
Chocolate flavor.
Yes, the beer itself, definitely contributes to chocolate flavor. So that also comes into the calculation too.
Yeah. Well, it comes back to that, like, the base beer, being able to be just really solid on its own, but also allow other things to shine is really important.
Correct.
So, all right, what's next? We've got, we've had the coconut banana demigod.
Yeah, so just a couple notes on this one. Demigod is kind of always our blend of usually right about 50% barrel god, and not always, but often the whiskey nuts, barrel nuts as the other component. But it could be other things. But it's usually right about half barrel god, hence
Okay.
demi meaning half in French. Or like a demigod is kind of
Oh,
like
yeah.
a false god,
Like a demi-glace is
partial
like,
god.
a
Yeah,
yeah, okay, all right.
exactly. So that's our demigod brand, I guess. And we have done adjuncted and non-adjuncted variants of demigod over the years. Last year we had a pumpkin spice demigod. This year we have this coconut banana demigod, which, in contrast to most of our releases this year, which are in 330 milliliter bottles, this is in a 750 milliliter crowler And the reason that we decided to do that was because we were adding coconut and banana post barrel aging, like on the cold side at like right prior to packaging. We're adding a bunch of potential sugar to it.
Yeah.
So we also pasteurize these cans
Okay.
so that you get a stable product to take home.
Yeah.
And for us, we just felt a lot more confident pasteurizing crowlers than glass bottles.
Yeah.
Safety and loss. Glass bottles we struggled a lot more with in the pasteurization process. So
Sure.
the crowlers were kind of built for that, in our opinion. So this will be crowlers available on Sunday, March 10th, kind of our demigod day this year as we kind of set it up. So
Okay.
we'll have that as the release, and then also tapping last year's pumpkin spice demigod, and I think it wasn't even a or a Big Beer Week release, but chocolate orange demigod from 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, I
So
remember
a keg
that.
of that will be
That was so
tapped
good.
on the last day of Big Beer Week this year as well. And that actually was one of those that wasn't just Barrel God and whiskey nuts. It had part of it was the chocolate orange lateralis that we did. That was released unbarrel aged in cans.
Yeah, I remember
a
that.
year before that.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So we've got a fresh pour. Oh, yes. Speaking of artwork, let me see if I can find the PP on here. I know it's on the forearm. I'm looking at the can. So we have the Cinnamon Coffee Shop Assault Vehicle. Now this was when this came out, the artwork. Yeah, that's right. Oh, there she blows. Literally. So this
It's a dog
is
bone.
when they. Yes, exactly. If the TTB asks, it's a Cheeto. So this artwork is so iconic and fun because there's so much going on. When the coffee shop assault vehicle came out, it was the cat of one of the co-founders of Beer People, right? And that was like, I remember the original artwork was like on a motorcycle,
A scooter,
right?
which was where the name came from. That scooter is supposed to be the coffee shop assault vehicle.
Yeah.
Hipster dude's riding his scooter. That's his assault vehicle.
Yep.
To
Okay.
get to the coffee shop.
Yeah, and so it's fun to see. This is kind of one of the pieces of artwork that I think there's a lot of fun stuff going on. And
And that was
if you-
my first label I designed when I came on full time, and the first label I won a trophy for.
talk about setting the bar high.
Pretty neat stuff.
And yet you continue to just
a fun challenge.
continue to wow. Yeah, but there's a lot going on here and I'm just talking about the label. Let's talk about the beer. Oh, holy
Super
shit, there's a lot of
complex.
coffee in here. This smells like a cup of coffee.
Smell like this.
Oh, yes, so let's do a comparison. Now I'm going to sniff some beans.
Ooh, smell Aaron's
Whoa,
sack.
it's like almost the same. Wow. Now, is this the coffee that you used in here?
That is. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know what's funny? After smelling the coffee, the cinnamon is way more prominent.
Neat.
Yeah. The more you know. Yeah, so talk to me about this coffee. This is a local
Yeah, so over the years we've worked with a handful of coffee roasters. They've all been very local to us. In the early years, we worked with Paradise. They were the closest roaster when we first wanted to do a coffee beer back in 2015. I believe the Polar Mountains.
yeah.
So that was
One of my
that was
favorites.
my first experience, like going to a coffee roaster and cupping a bunch of different roasted, coffees, and deciding what was going to go best with the beer that we were making.
A room full of
but-
adults giggling about the word cupping.
Yeah.
I know.
Moving on.
Moving
on from
if
cupping.
you will. Yeah.
So yeah, short history. Paradise was the first one. We worked with them for many years. They were, when we first started, they were the closest roaster to us. They ended up moving to Minneapolis. That we didn't stop us from continuing to work with them, but eventually they ended up kind of relocating their entire business to Hawaii. So both from like a logistics standpoint and also wanting to continue working with local roasters, and lots of new small local roasters had opened up. Since we had first started working with Paradise, we worked with Kinder Coffee in St. Cloud, and we also started working with Ember Coffee here in Big Lake, which is really just kind of kitty corner to our brewery. So they are absolutely, and I think it would be almost impossible to be more closely located to us as a coffee roaster than they are. And the folks over there have been really great to work with. They have a pretty unique roasting setup. They do air roasting versus like a traditional
Like a
drum roasting.
Yeah.
So I don't know the exact number, but I think it's like 95+% of roasters in the United States do drum roasting, and
Yeah.
so the air roasting is a pretty unique process.
Okay.
But yeah, so with them being so close to us, it's super easy to collaborate and send stuff back and forth and bounce ideas off of each other. And so this coffee worked with Matt, the owner roaster there. He sent me a few ideas after hearing about the beer that we wanted to put it in, from like a raw bean standpoint of beans that he could procure for us to barrel age in whiskey barrels. So we get green beans. So pre-roasting, the beans are they're kind of like a pale green color, but they're super like absorbent
Right.
at that point in their life. So
And that's when you put them into the barrels?
yeah, we put them in the barrels then, and they kind of just like suck in everything from the wood and the spirit that was in there beforehand.
Okay.
And then you roast it afterwards, and it just like traps
Wow.
that character in
Okay.
the roasted coffee. So this was a Guatemalan coffee that was kind of had some like chocolate and almond notes. The bean itself, and like relatively low acidity,
Okay.
and which was definitely a selling point for me because we don't obviously coffee can be quite acidic.
Yeah, it can go acrid pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Which is a little off-putting
right.
for people.
And we're gonna roast it like enough too that like some of the like lighter notes you like aren't gonna matter that much, anyways, because we're putting it in such a heavy beer. But yeah, we chose that. We aged it for a couple weeks in barrels, like filled like 100 pounds of green coffee beans into a whiskey barrel, and I rotate it, like roll the barrel around every day for like 2 weeks. I have it on like a roller
on the top
stand.
would be on the side and the bottom.
Yeah, the bun
If I'm understanding
the bun
science
goes all the way
correctly.
around. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just so I'm with you here.
Yeah, we usually sing that song when we do it too.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, the aroma on this is really good. Now, this was a life hack that my mom used to do when she made a pot of coffee. She would always put like a little bit of cinnamon in there, like in with the coffee grounds, and that is very evident in here. So it's, for me, it's a very cool like sensory memory. Kind of like I'm like waking up on Christmas morning now, and just yeah, without the beer, but like yeah, that aroma is really good, and the flavor is really nice too.
So then this beer, so Coffee Shop Assault Vehicle is a beer that we've made for a handful of years with bourbon barrel-aged coffee beans in an imperial stout. Last year, or just over a year ago, we did a can release of this beer with cinnamon added.
Yep.
Not barrel-aged.
Right.
But we took a portion. I think we took almost half of a batch. So we brewed twice as much as we wanted to
Okay.
release in cans of the non-barrel aged version. And then we put half of it into bourbon barrels and aged it for a year. And then we took it out of those bourbon barrels a couple weeks ago and recirculated it on a fresh round of bourbon barrel aged coffee. So that's this Guatemalan coffee that we just had roasted.
Yeah,
And then carbonated it and packaged it.
this beer turned out really well, I think.
So it's had 2 rounds of bourbon barrel aged coffee and also been bourbon barrel aged for a year.
Yeah.
Which is one of the common
Fantastic.
misconceptions about Coffee Shop Assault Vehicle is that people don't or think that it is barrel aged, and then they're like, oh, it's kind of light on the barrel aging, or they say, oh, it's not that much coffee because the coffee has a super unique like barrel aged flavor to it that doesn't taste like what most people associate with coffee. So now we've kind of doubled the coffee and also added the barrel aged character to the beer itself, and so now I think we're hitting everything that someone might want out of something that they hear is barrel aged or
Well, yeah. I
with
mean,
coffee
there's so much going on in here, and but what I keep coming back to is that satisfying coffee note, and it's not acidic. It's roasty. It's comforting. It's very. Yeah, this is wonderful. This is really good. This is my favorite one so far.
And this is the one that like the most people will be able to have access to because we are releasing this one out into the market as well. So
Find it at your favorite local liquor store.
yeah. So 16-ounce single can release.
Okay.
So you'd be able to go out
Yeah,
to your
this
local
is-
stores
oh,
around
this is
the
so
cities
wonderful.
and buy 16-ounce cans.
Man, this is good.
If you like the coffee character in this beer, you will be able to buy these bourbon barrel aged Guatemalan coffee beans from Ember directly.
Oh.
We're still in the process of deciding exactly how he's going to sell it, whether it will be 100% bourbon barrel aged coffee beans or if it'll be like a 50-50 blend with something else, because it is a really prominent character
Yeah.
and could be polarizing for people that
Well, I
don't
just imagine,
necessarily
like,
want to
you
feel
know-
like they're drinking bourbon at 7 in the morning. You know, when
Not
they're
that
having
there's
their-
anything wrong with that. We are no judgment zone here. But I imagine like, you know, the foursome that gets together to play bridge, you know, ladies who are in their 80s maybe don't want to start the day with
Or maybe they do.
that hey.
But yeah, so in some form, these bourbon barrel aged coffee beans will be available for purchase from Ember Coffee directly with a cool label, co-designed, mostly designed by Marcus.
I would highly recommend anyone coming into town. from
Which
Big Beer Week.
direction? From an out of towner. If I come in on 10 going
west.
north, is that a right or a
Like
left?
closer to St.
Left
Cloud
from out of here.
than to the cities from the brewery.
Okay. All right.
I mean, if you
Oh,
Google
nice.
Ember Coffee, you're gonna find it.
Okay.
It's not hard.
And they have ice cream.
As I was gonna say, highly recommend anyone coming in town for Big Beer Week stop by Ember Coffee. Their
Mm-hmm.
unique air roasting process makes incredible coffee. I go there over that caribou place we're not supposed to talk about now, even though they're equal distance from my house. It's really good coffee.
I love, and who doesn't love supporting a local coffee shop? That's. I mean,
And they're blowing up too. They
your
used to have,
dollars
like,
go
a-
so much farther there than they do at the not to be named.
They originally opened with a co-working space, which they have now converted into a production space
Okay.
because people
Cool.
like their coffee.
And the nitro cold brew that we have on tap here as well, it uses their coffee beans
Oh, nice.
Is that a special blend just for us? Did I hear that rumor?
No.
No. Well, I'm gonna still believe that it is.
The other thing about Ember, I mean, weren't they were voted part of was it the Star and Tribune? Minnesota.
That's what it was called like 30 years ago.
What year?
Minnesota's Star Trib's Minnesota Best Coffee.
Like
Wow.
last summer.
Yeah, last summer.
Or
So
last
they
year,
have
the
that.
best.
So it's been really well recognized, at least locally here. So it's really great, like we said, to have them literally kitty corner from our location. So
Okay. We are here for our last. Now we've got the double-barreled Night Witch. Which barrels make it a double barrel?
So our double barrel aged Night Witch was Night Witch that we brewed 2 solstices ago, or no, 2 winter solstices ago, and it was first. So we typically brew like 30-ish barrels, like 900 gallons, but we took 3 barrels from 2 years ago that had been aged in Heaven Hill, a combination of Heaven Hill and Woodford Reserve bourbon barrels
Okay.
for 12 months. And we racked 3 of those, rack meaning just like took the beer from one barrel and put it in another one. We took 3 barrels worth of beer, which they were not totally full after a year because of evaporation and leaking and different things like that, and put them into 2 brand new Elijah Craig toasted bourbon barrels, and then aged those 2 concentrated barrels for another 12 months. And that is what we packaged here.
Okay.
And this is the first double barrel aged beer that we have released.
I was gonna ask because I didn't recall the only other brewery that I've seen that advertises doing a double barreled beer is Town Hall.
Yeah.
And those are few and far between. Sometimes, as Mike Hoops has said, sometimes you just get lucky and you've got these 2, barrels that are great and you blend them together and it's just phenomenal and that's all you need.
Yeah.
But that's kind of seems like kind of winning the lottery from a barreling program perspective.
Right. And it is kind of gambling again with, stuff that's great after the requisite aging time and saying,
Right.
hey, what if we spent another couple $100 per barrel on a couple more barrels and put these in there and waited another year to 2 years and see if it makes it even better.
Right. Yeah, that's a huge dice roll.
It's a huge dice roll.
What prompted you to do that?
Just kind of tasting experience, having some other really awesome double barrel aged things.
Yeah.
Piqued my curiosity of like trying it ourselves. So we did this, and then since then we have sent an additional crop of barrels that have aged for like 12 to 18 months into double barrel aging now. So there will be more double barrel aged releases coming out of our program in the future.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, especially after tasting this.
Oh, you can double down on like bourbon characteristics, or you can also like really kind of take it in another direction too. Like get a lot of bourbon character and then throw something else in. So like you could go into rum barrels, you could go into scotch, you could go into port wine, you could go you could do a lot of other things to like get so much more complexity, or just get a lot more bourbon barrel character too, which is what we did here kind of. 3 different varieties of bourbon barrels over those 2 different barrel aging periods. which also provides a type of complexity, but a lot of opens up a lot of new options while still highlighting just like those different barrels you're using and not like outside of beer and barrel adjuncts.
Yeah.
Which is what I like to do, as we've talked about it many times.
Now, you said that one of the barrels you used was an Elijah Craig toasted barrel.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
So the Elijah Craig toasted, I can't tell you off the top of my head like real specifics about what they're doing in their toasted bourbon barrels, but typically your bourbon barrels are much more like charred than toasted.
So would that be a barrel that was maybe at a lesser degree of not
it was
as
subjected to a lot less like heat.
Now I know
and,
exactly.
like, burning
Yep.
of the inside of the barrel prior to. So, but my understanding is probably that those are finishing barrels for that bourbon. And so
Okay.
they spent time in charred barrels first, and
Sure.
then in my head at least, could be wrong about this, but I liken it to the Woodford Reserve double oaked.
Okay.
Where like when you use those barrels, those are finishing barrels.
Sure. Okay.
And they're super nice barrels to work with because
Mm-hmm.
they haven't actually been used for very long.
Right. And so they have a lot of this.
There's a
that
lot of character in them. Yeah.
When I went to the Barrel Aged Week preview thing, Mike sent around several different staves of different levels of toast.
Mm-hmm.
So they had just the straight up stave, then they had the toasted, then they had the charred.
Yep.
And so like that, now that you've put it in that context, I have a perfect understanding of what you're talking about. Yeah, there's no soot on there at all.
Right.
But
you're gonna get a lot more like sugary, kind of like marshmallow character and stuff like that versus like the ashy roasted coffee flavors.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So it's just additional nuance that we can get.
It's so fun though. To just see that and smell that. You really do get a kind of a true understanding of why bourbon is so complex.
Right.
Something as simple as just like more heat on the wood and how it affects the liquid and the spirit. Really, really interesting.
Yeah.
You guys eventually got to what I was going to
Okay.
say. Basically, because I was
Somebody
like,
give
oh,
Mandy a
See, like,
microphone.
Mandy.
She's over there.
Yeah.
She has thoughts.
No, it's fine. I got this one over here. No, you got around to it, but I
Yeah.
was like, I know this part.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now this is a really, Night Witch is a really special beer on its own. And
Yeah.
so I feel like in this format really is.
And to talk about that just briefly, whereas earlier we talked about Barrel God is it's a really like simple kind of base. There's not a super long boil. And this like in its essence also is a simple base, but we kind of subject it to a super long boil.
Right.
And also Barrel God partly to make up for the lack of that super long boil and to get to the high gravity, so like the potential sugar to ferment into alcohol, we will use different like adjunct sugars as well, like Belgian candy syrups and things like that to boost that alcohol. This Night Witch is boiled 12 plus hours. That overnight boil process is what's concentrating those sugars and giving us that high potential for alcohol. It also like creates a lot of those like Maillard reactions, like caramelization from cooking reactions that you get that
which create
give you
a wonderful
like tons
flavor.
of flavors that you're not going to get in any
super
other
high
way.
concentration.
Yeah, and they can contribute to more viscosity in the finished product and like that better viscosity, like better mouthfeel, things like that. So while it's like Barrel got a very like simple base. It goes through a more complex process to yield a similar in alcohol base, but pretty different imperial stout base to go into those barrels.
Because the base beer is quite high, ABV wise, right? Just a regular before you even put it in a barrel, it's up there, right?
I mean, it goes into barrels usually around 12%.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're picking up normally between like 1.5% and 3% during barrel aging process.
Yeah.
Now this double version, picked up some during its
Yeah.
initial year, and then an additional sum during its additional year.
Yeah, well, because the double-barreled extra milk stout at Town Hall is like 15%.
Yeah.
It doesn't drink like it because it's so smooth,
Yeah.
which this is not hot at all. Like, but there's a lot of wood in the nose too,
Yeah.
which I really like. I mean, if you're a bourbon fan, this is going to be a go-to. What day does this release?
So this one is releasing on Friday, March 8th.
Okay.
And that same day, we will also tap the 2021 version of Night Witch and the 2022 version of Night Witch. So yeah, that's kind of
That
and then
also happens to be International
Mint Witch Day for the infusion.
International Women's Day, March 8th.
Yes.
So
Was that planned out?
That was not planned at all.
Oh my gosh.
A nice coincidence.
yes. Is this the first time you've featured Night Witch in Big Beer Week? No.
It's the first time that we have had a new release of Night Witch during Big Beer Week.
Okay.
We have tapped previous variants of
Sure.
Night Witch during Big Beer Week, but
Okay.
there's never been like a Big Beer Week release of a new type of Night Witch.
Yeah.
Typically the standard Night Witch we release in October.
Mm-hmm.
And the last 2 years we've done that in 16-ounce cans.
Yep.
Which have gone out to our mostly like Minnesota market as single can availability.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember initially the very first Night Witch release was in the old 750s.
Yeah.
And I became pretty popular with my beer group because I brought one of those bottles there and everybody loved it. And it's like, well, this is great because I'm not drinking a 750 milliliter bottle of 15% or whatever it was.
That was a fun perk of working from home back in the day because I was able to come up here for that bottle release.
Oh, sure.
Except for, drinking the beer and then trying to go back to work was...
That's right.
Suddenly
that
don't
Sudoku
recommend.
felt impossible.
That one snuck up on me. I remember that bottle.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is quite delicious. When we were talking about what order do we want to drink these beers in, I was like hemming and hawing because I'm like, well, you save it for last. Is it going to kind of get lost in the shuffle? But it doesn't. Yeah. This stands out quite well amidst so many other big beers. Yeah, this is going to be this Big Beer Week 2024 is shaping up to be quite the 8-day event. Yes, Jeff? You have something to say?
Well, I just wanted to feature, I don't think we talked about it, but one of the vintage things that we have coming up on the first day on that Sunday, March 3rd, we have our Roost 2018, which is...
You still have some left?
Uh-huh.
How's that possible?
Stashed away.
Exciting.
So that is the old 12%. That was, again, one of our original imperial stouts
Not
back in the day.
barrel-aged.
Not barrel-aged, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a Russian imperial stout. The other one that is vintage that will be coming out that we didn't talk about is actually, if you're into the Barrel Gods, Barrel God 2019 will be on Tuesday, March 5th, and that's 14.6%. So
was that just a straight up version, or was there a?
It's a straight up Barrel God.
Okay.
Barrel aged. I don't know what the barrels were that we aged them in that year.
I'm glad. So one of the things as I was thinking about this podcast, I did throw my reading glasses in my thing because last year you handed me this thing and I could not read it because I'm getting old. But yeah, there's a nice. Okay, let me. There's a lot there. Unchecked hedonism. Wow. Did I see something that you did? You brewed Unholy Confessions
We did.
again? Is
We
that
d-
on
you
here?
Yes. And the reason why is because our
Wait a minute. Seeds of Change?
Yep.
Dan's
Sorry.
just getting all excited. Just so you know, Dan, you can go to our website and download this schedule onto your phone.
Oh,
so you
that's-
can zoom in and
yeah,
read
no.
everything at
my-
a size that works for you.
Yeah, that's fine. It's all good.
What you looking for, Dan? You got a seeds
What's
of change
available
in your
on that
bag or
schedule,
what?
Tracy?
You got to get your reading glasses on.
About Unholy Confessions, though, like you said, it was a fan favorite the one time we did it before.
Yeah.
So we made a large batch of a Belgian quad like a year ago.
Okay.
That we then added adjuncts and stuff to for a can release. A year
Okay.
ago.
Unchecked
That is the
hedonism.
unchecked hedonism.
Right.
But
Okay.
before we added those adjuncts, we took a bunch, like 4 bourbon barrels worth, or rum barrels worth,
Okay.
same size,
Yeah.
53 gallon, like 4 53-gallon barrels worth of that unchecked hedonism prior to adjuncts, so just Belgian quad, and put it in rum barrels and aged it for a year to be able to bring back Unholy Confessions.
Okay. Yeah. That beer was, I remember that being very, very good. I remember a lot of people in the tap room were like, yeah, Unholy Confessions is a great beer. And then when it went away, when are you bringing that back?
If you guys want to know more about all of the Sioux Falls and Big Lake beer releases, we have both of our daily release schedules available as downloadable PDFs on our website, so you can browse those at your leisure. You can read them at whatever font size works best for you.
I feel attacked. No, that's great. That's good to know because I often do. I get a lot of crap from my students when and like instantly start like upping the size. Like, what are you doing, Mr. B? I'm like, I'm
Well,
old. I
you
can't
gotta
see.
blame this on Aaron. He keeps adding more beers every year. We gotta fit it all on this sheet. So
I mean, this is a mammoth. I'm looking. There's so much.
Demanding more and more.
we do. We bring it on ourselves. We love the challenge of it all.
I mean, there has to be. Have you ever thought, or are there people that have tried every single beer?
Yeah, pretty much everybody in this room.
Yeah, I know you all have because you're like superheroes. But what about the muggles out there? Are there people who like not only are they here every day, but they're like they've tried at least like, and I guess this is a good question. Do you do half pours or 5-ounce pours of any of these beers?
Yes, everything is offered in a 5-ounce pour, which
Okay.
is, it allows you to be able to try every single thing
Right.
on this menu.
Yeah.
That is the size we recommend.
Yes, it is the
And it
recommended
also-
size.
I still don't recommend you try everything during
Yeah,
Big Beer
that's just.
Week.
I'm just
It's
looking at
like-
just like on Sunday. Okay, Sunday, March 3rd. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 beers. That's even at 5 ounces a piece. That's a lot. That's ambitious. So go through. Yeah, do what Tracy said. What did you say, Mike? Download the PDF.
Almost a growler worth of 10%
Highlight.
plus beer.
Right. Yeah, because then you're going to want to take Monday off until you realize that, hey, FYI, there's more things releasing on Monday. So you can't take Monday off because that's when the Islay Scotch one is on.
Can't think of a better vacation though. Just take a whole week off and come to Big Beer Week the entire week. That's like
I mean, there's
Well,
worse.
you bring a group, and you get everybody to buy one of each,
Yeah.
and then you can sample.
Yeah, that's
This is,
good.
Get your Big Beer Week buddies
Man,
scheduled.
that Twix Barrel God, I bet that's just going to be sensational. I'm just,
I'm really excited for that one as well.
Yeah, that'll be good.
And I'm a sucker for anything we put mint in, and I always get a lot of pushback, but I will continue to fight for it because I think they're delicious. So I'm looking forward to Mint Witch.
Ooh, Eastern Sea. Look at that. I'm just... Yeah,
Speaking of beers that might be the last keg of, I think that is the last keg of the Eastern Sea.
Oh, snap.
Okay, so we're going to wrap this up with a nice little bow. Big Beer Week 24 happening Sunday, March 3rd to the 10th. 8 days of beer. Thank you so much, all of you, for taking time out of your Sunday, a day after a big party at the brewery, to come on and hang out with me.
We're not mad about it.
And be the trial run for my new mixing board. So yeah, we got it all in. We learned a lot about barrel-aged beers. So we sampled 6, and there's still 40 more that I still need to dip my toe in. So that'll be fun.
I do want to throw in there, too, that we were trying to work out some touring that's going to happen during the week, and beer poking. We're going to have beer poking every day that week, too.
Nice.
So change the flavor of beer a little more, and it's a lot of fun. And
A little extra caramelization.
Nice. Excellent. Well, thank you, as always, for having me up here. We always have a fun time chatting.
Thanks for coming, Dan.
Yeah.
thank you,
So
Dan.
Appreciate
this has been another episode of a One Pint Stand up here at Lupulin Brewing. So put Big Beer Week 2024 on your calendar, and we'll see you up here. Cheers. After all of that information, I trust that you have March 3rd through the 10th marked on your calendar. And maybe you even thought about buying tickets to the preview dinner at Willie's on the Lake. Big Beer Week is, outside of Town Hall's barrel-aged event, one of the best lineups of big beers available in Minnesota. So make sure you plan your visit so you can enjoy the treasures that Aaron, Mike, and the rest of the team have concocted for you. I love chatting with them, and I'm grateful that they were willing to take their time to really delve in deep into the 46 different beers that they will be featuring. And I'm really excited to try some of those beers myself. So with that, we are at the close of another episode of A One Pint Stand, a Minnesota craft beer podcast where the pants stay on, but the caps come off. Cheers. What is a side bung?
Is this on record or?
Legitimate question, because I know like most of the time the bung is at the top. Are there typically bungs on the
Yeah, I mean,
side?
it's on the top if you rotate your barrel to have it on the top.
Okay.
I would call it like that is the side.
That
of the
I
barrel,
detected a tone in that response. Did anybody else get that? Okay, Aaron. We don't all work with barrels. Okay.
right? It could also be on the bottom of the barrel.
Oh, okay. All right. Forget I asked. All right. And ranks.
We
It's
gotta
2024. I'm
rotate-
going to put my bung
rotated
where
for
I
your
want.
pleasure, Dan.
Oh, hey.
So pedantic.
Ay, ay, ay.